This is Mark Bell from supertraining.tv, Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West, answering more questions today for the Power Project, brought to you by dangerouslyhardcore.com. We got a question today from Rob Gennett off of the Facebooks, and Rob's question, he says he's a former military, a veteran, if you will, and he's got a couple injuries, a little banged up, and he wants to kind of know how he should go about fixing some of this stuff. So he's got a partial quad tear and or a partial tendon tear, and also he's got some rotary cuffs going on. I actually had somebody tell me there was something wrong with their rotary cuffs before. Rotator cuff, I think it's called. Anywho's, let's try to figure this out. So whenever someone has a problem, the ultimate problem solver in the gym is something called a sled. It's a hunk of metal that you put weight on and then you walk around with it. It's a pretty amazing idea, pretty amazing concept. But walking with the sled can be super beneficial to anybody who has a knee injury, a back injury, any sort of issues with the quads, any sort of issues with the ham hockers, and even rotator cuff and things like that. So take your sled, and let's talk about your quad for a second. Now, a lot of you guys have seen my funny little spill that I did with 1085. And when I fell, my left leg, my right leg shot in pretty violently and hit the ground. And I tore up some stuff down here somewhere. Down there somewhere. And anyways, kind of like right on top of the quad. Probably quad tendon. I probably did blow something off, but I'm too stupid to go to the doctor. I don't really want to go about doing that, so I've been rehabbing it and doing stuff all by my lonesome, by myself, my own way. And it's been successful so far. Been able to squat, been able to break parallel, been able to do box squats, dynamic effort squats, and deadlifts, and whatever the hell else. I do get a little feedback here and there. My leg tells me that I'm an asshole, just like many of you do all the time. But it's been going pretty good. And backwards sled dragging can be big for that. So what you want to do is you want to try to stay on your toes and just walk backwards with the sled weighted. So put some weight on the sled, maybe just throw some numbers out there to you. About 3 plates, do about 2-3 trips with that, and then put 4 plates on there and do about 2 or 3 trips with that. And just try to get some distance. The distance is really going to be the key. And then try to add a little bit more weight on for the last 2 sets or so. But you want to get some distance. You want to get some good volume in there. You don't want to just walk with the sled for 5 minutes. You want to walk with it for a minimum of about 20 minutes or so. It doesn't have to be 20 minutes straight though. When you walk backwards with it, stay on your toes. Try not to let your heels hit the ground. Think of yourself as Deion Sanders. You're one of those shut-down corners, right? Out there on an island all by yourself, covering Randy Moss, or whoever the hell it might be. Envision that. Keep yourself on your toes, and also play around with walking with a wider stance and a closer stance. Don't feel foolish about trying some things a little differently. You want to think differently than everybody. You want to train differently than everybody, so that you can have better results than everybody. The backward sled dragging as well as the forward sled dragging. So maybe after you do a couple sets of that, you can do some forward sled dragging. That's going to help with the stability and mobility of your leg as well. And on top of that, you might want to try to implement doing some step-ups, some Russian, what are those called? Pistol squats, or no, not a pistol squat. I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself here. The one-legged squats might be a decent idea, where your leg is up on a bench behind you, or some step-ups. I like to do step-ups. I don't really do lunges. They make me too sore. They make me cry. They make me sad, so I don't do them, but I probably should. Let's see. What else can you do for your knee? You can get in there and smash on it. Grab a barbell. Lay on the ground, or lay on a bench, or whatever. You lay on something. Get on the ground or something like that. And grab a barbell and take a barbell and roll it over the spot that hurts. Roll it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Try to squeeze that shit out of there, get all that shit out of there, whatever's in there. a little gnome that's in there, knock on his door, and kick his ass out. Get the hell out of here. Some stretching could be pretty effective as well. Some stretches for the quad, some stretches for the hip flexor. Your hip flexor is probably going to get super tight when you're injured. That's what happened to me with my quad injury. My hips just shut down, and they've become brutally tight to the point where the sumo deadlifting has been a little bit of a challenge. But now it's all coming back. Now it's restored. You can look up any types of stretch for the hip flexors. Hopefully I don't have to go over all that with you. But even just being in a lunge position itself will help stretch the hip flexors a little bit. Some stretches for the quad obviously would be pretty good, and some stretches for the hammy. Don't want to give you too much to do. Just really walk with that sled. Get a little bit of stretching in there. It'll go a long way. Now as far as your rotary cuffs go, I've had a rotator cuff injury now since 06. See that? Start a gym, you're going to get banged up. Actually, I've had a shoulder problem for years and years, probably since 2004, something like that, or 2. But my injury is kind of weird. It's from clotheslining people. Ba-boom. It's from pro wrestling. Clotheslining people. And when you clothesline somebody, you know, you think it's pro wrestling, so you think it's fake, right? But you're really drilling them with it, and when you drill them with it, you know, your arm gets twisted back behind your body pretty violently, almost similar to a way, you know, a pitcher is chucking their hand back behind their elbow so hard that it's causing a lot of force, a lot of trauma to the area. So I've had to deal with rotator cuff type problem, a lot of tightness and a lot of just things screwed up in the back there. A couple things that I do is I'll set myself up in a rack, not in a rack, and I'll put the pin in, the safety pins, and I'll just freaking drill my shoulder into there. You can do the same thing with a ball. You can grab a tennis balls would be too soft. You can grab a softball, baseball, your own balls. Use some sort of ball that's hard. A lacrosse ball works pretty good. So something like that, roll around on it, get some of that scar tissue out of there, but you got to stretch your lats. You got to get into your lats, you got to stretch them, you got to roll them out. I like to roll on the safety pin things. I'll try to post a video of that, so that way I don't have to get on the ground and try to roll around on a foam roller. It's too awkward for me. I don't get the same out of it, so I just roll. I put the pin in the rack, and it's not just a pin. It's the I can't even think of what it's called, but it's the thing that you do rack pulls off of, basically. The thing that Louis Simmons sells, that whole piece. You might not have that same thing at your gym, but I put that whole thing across, and then I get my arm up and over it, and I just wiggle around on it, and I just try to take as much excruciating pain as I can. Try to go see someone that does ART. They're going to be able to inflict pain on you a lot better than you're going to be able to inflict it upon yourself. Inflicting pain upon yourself sucks. Look into getting some sort of gel or some sort of at my gym we use like horse liniments. We use something called China gel. You want to look into something like that. It doesn't seem like it really helps that much, but it really does. I don't know why. I don't know why the hell it helps, but it does. It seems like it you know, it's just rubbing some sort of cream that causes some irritation to the skin. You're thinking, how the hell does that really help? I don't know what the answer is to that, but it seems to help for me anyway, and for a lot of my guys at the gym. A lot of us end up using that kind of crap, that kind of stuff. Some exercises that you could do to help that rotator cuff. Try some Cuban presses, invented by Mark Cuban. You take a weight like this here, about waist height. You pull it up to about your nippies, and then you rotate it back. Boom, and it kind of up and overhead. So again, from here, shoop, up to there, up and back, and then overhead. So it turns into like trying to turn it all into one movement. That's a good movement. How much weight should you use? Use a weight that doesn't hurt. You should be able to use at least a 45-pound bar, but you might have some severe pain going on. You might not be able to do that. So instead of a barbell, maybe use some dumbbells. Some other things you can do, band pull-aparts. You can put on a slingshot, the slingshot from howmuchyoubench.net, and you can work through your injury. You can work around it until you recover. You'll still be able to bench press and stuff without any shoulder pain, most likely. Not for everybody, but from almost everybody. And you can also do pull-aparts with the slingshot on. That's something I love to do. Like get the slingshot on just like you normally put it on, And rather than laying down and bench pressing with it, I just pull it apart a lot. So that's a good exercise. You're going to have to try to get some blood into the area, so anything for the rear delt, anything for the rotator cuff is going to be good. You can, let's see if I can film this. You can put your foot up on something like yay. See my legs up here like this. Put your elbow on it like this here. My shoulder should be a little bit more level with where my elbow is. And then you're just going to come down like this here. And then come back up. That one's really good. That one hurts really bad. You know, the things that hurt really bad. And the things that are dangerous, the things that are the most dangerous are the best for us. So that's a really good one to do. That's something I've been playing around with a little bit recently because my shoulder's been a little jacked up. Hopefully that helps answer all your questions and clear everything up for the Power Project Army. Protect your dreams, embrace your fears, and that is it from supertraining.tv. Later.